Hello there, I'm Kyo Saroni Beatmaker, and on this episode of the Monday Mindset, we're going to discuss to love others, you must first love yourself. We are one after all, you and I. Together we suffer, together exist, and forever will recreate each other. Teilhard de Chardin. To love others, you must first love yourself. We have already stated several times that you can only give to others that you have yourself. This is especially true in love. You cannot give what you have not learned and experienced. Dr. Leo. When individuals refuse to love themselves, they refuse the art of living. When individuals refuse themselves, they refuse to be true. Individuals will spend the rest of their days lying to themselves. How can you love others when you've been lying to yourself? It is a hollow feat at attempting to be real. For individuals have refused the essential reality for their false narrative. If all the individual has to offer themselves and others is lies written within their false narrative, said individual has never loved or been loved. They have forsaken the true self. They have forsaken the chance to learn in love. They have forsaken the art of living. For the experiences we gain in the art of living breathe life into our ability to fully and truly invest in ourselves. More importantly, in love. Loving oneself does mean a genuine interest, caring, concerned, and respect for oneself. To care about oneself is basic to love. Dr. Leo. To love others, you must first love yourself. To see the value of your individuality, to be interested in your growth, in the experiences of pain, pleasure, success, and failure. Caring for your emotional well-being and your mental well-being and your physical well-being by taking the necessary time and effort to take the vitamins and supplements that strengthen and boost your immune system, taking probiotics so you can have a healthy gut biome, working out, doing strength training and endurance training, as well as yoga, having concerns for the way people treat you and perceive you, the friends and family you allow to support and inspire and aid you. These basic fundamentals are how individuals actively participate in loving themselves continuously, in promoting themselves to a higher plane of emotional and mental existence, and physical prowess. Rawr. That has a cascading effect upon their essential reality, allowing the individual to bloom within their garden as a gardener tends to the love of their flowers. Each flower is an aspect of our dreams, our hopes, our inspirations, fears, accomplishments, and pains. We tend to each flower by loving ourselves. Welcome to Ronin Art and Music. I wish to introduce everyone to my new Teespring page, where you can purchase designs featuring Ronin Art and Music, the Monday Mindset, or Ronin Thoughts. Head over to Teespring and search Ronin Art and Music, or head over to my Etsy page at Ronin Art and Music, where you can purchase photography postcards, motivational postcards, and hard copies of my debut album, True Colors. If you enjoy the merchandise, products, or content created by Ronin Art and Music, please take time to subscribe to my Patreon page at Ronin Art and Music. This is the best way to show continued support and join Clan Ronin, where you will have a hands-on impact on all things Ronin Art and Music. Stay positive, Stay focused, stay true, and much love. In order to love oneself, your emotional well being must come first. We don't take time to think about how important that is. Many of us spend so much time making sure that other people's emotional well-being is taken care of while we neglect our own. Sometimes consciously and most often unconsciously. We can, we don't I feel like that right now in this climate that we're living in right now, um, people are advocating for emotional well-being, are talking about it, giving seminars, you name it. But we have to ask ourselves you know, is it the right message for us, for any of us? Even what I'm saying, is it what you need to be hearing as an individual when it regards to your mental well-being? Before I listened to anyone, or took anyone's advice about what I needed to do for my emotional well-being, I first took a deep dive internally. And for me, that required reading books. And I was reading, Joseph Campbell and Stephen Pressfield and a couple other books, Don Miguel, um, Pablo Coelho. And I was reading these books more so I can understand what my what determined my emotional well-being, what was fundamental for my emotional well-being. And the things that were stated earlier are things that we need to really take into consideration, because as I have been, I take my daily supplements, I take vitamins, I do the whole thing, and on top of working out consistently and doing yoga consistently. And even if I'm not able to get a full body workout in, I have, little workouts that, are like 10, like they're like 30 minutes in total. Just little things like that keep me going, that keep the consistency, that keep, the body moving and grooving. And, when you do physical activities that are, healthy for yourself, you really see an improvement in your emotional well-being. And yeah, you're gonna see, if you're also eating right, you're gonna, see muscle build, you're gonna see your endurance increase, flexibility, all those kind of things. And those are phenomenal things, don't get me wrong. But I also really think about how emotionally balanced I feel after working out, since, consistently taking my vitamins and supplements, how, I'm noticing a consistency in my ability to really keep my emotions as balanced as possible. And don't get me wrong, there are going to be times when you're going to be really feeling it. You're going to be sad, you're going to be down, you're going to be depressed. Of course, those things happen. But it's about how you're able to cope in those moments. Are you still able to appreciate and value yourself even when you're feeling, extremely depressed, isolated, upset, unsure, whatever the circumstances are going on? If you're able to continue to value and love yourself, through the turmoils and the tribulations, then, more, you're emotionally better off in a sense, because you're able to roll with the punches. You're able to still see, what, this may be going on, but I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to work out, that I'm able to, eat as healthy as I can be. Not everyone is as fortunate as that right now. And those are things that add to your emotional well-being. Reminding yourself of what you're grateful for, that you're grateful that you're able to get up and work out, that you're able to get out there and take care of yourself, healthy, by being, very self-aware of what your body needs and desires and what it shouldn't have, the things that we love but we shouldn't have, and how to, minimize the intake of, certain unhealthy, food, or even vices, you name it. But to be proud of ourselves for being able to be consistent even when we're feeling down. And that's something that I'm still kind of struggling with myself. There are moments where, I'm still struggling to like love myself in certain aspects, but in other aspects, I'm proud of myself. I love myself. But, it's a continuing educational union, loving yourself, because you're going to have times where you're not, patting yourself on the shoulder as often as you should be. Or if you're like me, you are your worst critic to the point where you beat yourself up constantly, and you will punish yourself for not being consistent, for not working out, for not doing things on your to-do list or what have you. I'm that kind of person. I will beat myself up and punish myself. And, that's not loving yourself. That's not caring for yourself and supporting yourself. Um, that's completely the opposite. And that type of behavior, mentality, that self-inflicting, emotional, you know, sabotage and, emotional whipping of yourself, like those wild Christians back in the day. um, you're not doing yourself any justice, and you're deepening yourself in that despair, in that pit. And even if you're working out consistently and eating right, but you're not feeling any better about yourself, that's not good. What's the point? What's the point of being in great shape but you don't emotionally at all feel good about yourself? You still don't love yourself. And 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 that's something that we should all take in consideration, that it don't matter, how, what your, what size your belt is. You have people out there who are the most, handsome, prettiest people out there, and they really don't like themselves. And I don't know what that's all about. I'm just bringing that up as something that people are struggling with, that we will objectify and praise these people, but at the same time they hate themselves and they hate you even more for praising them. um, but we also need to praise ourselves. We need to, be our best. We need to be our own hype men and our own hype women. We need to do that for ourselves, because not every day we're gonna have that person by our corner. We're gonna have to, laugh at our own jokes. We're gonna have to pat ourselves on the shoulder. We're gonna have to walk out there, strutting it. And even if nobody's watching, you know, sometimes, when I'm going out and, depending on what I'm wearing, I'll then think about like where I'm going. I'm like, is there anyone there I'm trying to impress? And then I'm like, no, there isn't. Okay, so be casual. Sometimes, we don't need to, um, I don't know, I'm kind of going off on a rant here. So let's dial it back. But what I'm trying to say is that, when you are loving yourself, you feel good about yourself. You appreciate yourself. You will look at what you're gonna wear for the day and think like, well, who do I got to impress today? Nobody? All right. Let's not stress it. We don't need to whip out the wind tips. So, that's what I'm trying to, reaffirm, is that by loving yourself, you have to realize that your emotional well-being has to come first. And that means addressing yourself eternally, doing what I did, a deep dive. And that is different for everybody. It's not going to be the same path and journey that I went on. Everyone's going to be different. But you have to take that time to do that. And that's will also mean, having to cut off people that are unhealthy to the journey that you're trying to go on, a person that you're trying to be. And, it's easier said than done. I know that. Um, but those are things you have to reassess when it comes to your emotional well being. What are things that are in your life that are affecting your emotional well being, that are, whether they're toxic, whether they're, um, unpredictable, whether they're things that you you've been avoiding, that you haven't addressed, and it's now time to address them, you're going to have to do that. And that might mean letting people go. That might mean stepping out of a relationship, ending a relationship. It's going to be, depending on your circumstance, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. But it was never meant to be easy. That is, that is the essential reality in the art of living. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. It's going to test your resolve, test your individuality. And that comes when you respect yourself. You put value in the love that is expressed and received. And when you love yourself, when you are proud of yourself, when you are taking care of yourself, taking care of your temple, taking care of your individuality, then the love that you express is going to be genuine. It's going to be fruitful. It's going to be thoughtful. It's going to be humble. And the love that you will receive will be the same. And sometimes it may not. There are plenty of times where, you're just going to have to smile and play the part for people who are jerks. And, even for me, there are times where there might be someone, an individual in my life who I have to deal with and I have to work with or contend with. And, I'll pray for them. And I will pray that, whatever they're going through, that they try not to carry it into dealing with me and throw it on me and wish them well. And I'll tell you, it actually can work. You can actually see a difference in people. And that right there is putting value in love, not only to yourself, but into other people, even those you don't even necessarily like. And I can assure you, I'm not the biggest fan of this person, but I did it because it's the right thing to do. And because it made me see the value also in myself and appreciate that more, that when I did it, I could actually see a difference. And I felt good about myself. I felt that I was doing the right thing. And sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's just because it's the right thing to do. And you have to act on that. You have to act on that feeling. Even if it takes time out of your day, even if it makes you late, even if it pisses somebody off, if it's the right thing to do and it's genuine and it means something and it will help them, then go for it. But every circumstance is different and you have to assess that. For me, I just knew that was the right thing to do, because then I knew that I was putting more value into my prayers and into the love of myself. Because we have to remember that when we love ourselves, that spreads. It can inspire other people. It can motivate other people to love themselves, to reassess, how can I be like him or her? How can I lead like them? I don't want to follow. I want to lead just like them. And that's something that we need to share. By respecting and loving ourselves, we become beacons of hope for other people to see that they can live their life just in that way. They can learn the art of living. They can see the value in life, see the value in being an individual, see the value in being. And that is the most important gift that we can all share to one another. Man loves himself when he sees himself with accuracy, genuinely appreciates what he sees, but is especially excited and challenged with the prospect of what he can become. Dr. Leo. When individuals love themselves within the essential reality, they are inspired and motivated by the challenges and obstacles that make said individual better than yesterday. Being better than yesterday is tomorrow's obligation for being challenged in the present. The prospects of an individual's personhood are determined by the amount of love invested within themselves. But man is a strange creature. Diversity frightens him. Instead of accepting the challenge, the joy, the wonder of variation, he usually is frightened of it. He either moves away from or endeavors to twist uniqueness into sameness. Only then does he feel secure. Dr. Leo. Society has conditioned individuals to be frightened by the diverse aspects in the art of living. They prefer the comforts of domestication and sameness, rather than the joy of unique experiences to be learned and taught. In the art of living, rather than the joy of unique experiences to be learned and taught in the art of living. These individuals feel secure in their domestication and will never dare to venture beyond the boundaries of security. They refuse their call to adventure. They deny themselves self-actualization. They refuse their personhood. They never become fully human. To love oneself is to struggle, to rediscover and maintain your uniqueness. It is understanding and appreciating the idea that you will be the only you to ever live upon this world. That when you die, so will all the fantastic possibilities. Dr. Leo. Individuals struggle to love oneself for the fear of their individuality and the perception of their peers. The struggle or outright refusal to rediscover and maintain their individual uniqueness prevents them, denies them from appreciating the fantastic possibilities that come from embracing the true self, celebrating the endless possibilities that can be actualized when manifestation is in synchronicity with time. We think much less than what we know. We know much less than what we love. We love much less than what there is. To this precise extent, we are much less than what we are. Welcome to Ronin Art and Music. I wish to introduce everyone to my new Teespring page, where you can purchase designs featuring Ronin Art and Music, the Monday Mindset, or Ronin Thoughts. Head over to Teespring and search Ronin Art and Music, or head over to my Etsy page at Ronin Art and Music, where you can purchase photography postcards, motivational postcards, and hard copies of my debut album, True Colors. If you enjoy the merchandise, products, or content created by Ronin Art and Music, please take time to subscribe to my Patreon page at Ronin Art and Music. This is the best way to show continued support and join Clan Ronin, where you will have a hands-on impact on all things Ronin Art and Music. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love. There is a you lying dormant, a potential within you to be realized. Perhaps the only peace and joy in life lies in the pursuit of and the development of this potential. Dr. Leo. When we embrace the true self, we embrace our potential. A potential that can exceed far beyond our fears and shine light on the magnificent aspects of our potential. The peace and joy that is formulated by embracing self-actualization. This allows a fully functioning person to actualize all the potentiality that is found within the art of living. Individuals that refuse their call to adventure, they remain dormant, unfulfilled, unrealized, never actualized, remaining ignorant of the true self, denying the soul of revelations. The longer an individual actively denies themselves, the stronger their resistance towards the call to adventure becomes. The weeds grow thicker, flowers wilt away, and the garden and the gardener succumb to the false self. The victim mentality, the avoidance of accountability, self-sabotaging behavior towards the world and oneself, destroying the very potential that makes them unique, that makes them human. What may be is always potential for discovery. It is never too late, Dr. Leo. It is never too late to embrace the true self. It's never too late to begin your studies in the art of living. For the art of living requires discovery of one's potential. That is the first step on the path in the art of living. They say you're only as old as you feel. I say you're only as true as you are. But what may be is to be actualized, to be fully human, to be succeeding in your goals and dreams, to be evolving into full personhood. So, loving yourself involves the discovery of the true wonder of you, and not only the present, but the many possibilities of you, Dr. Leo. When you begin to love yourself, that is when the true discoveries reveal themselves. The mysteries of your potential are actualized. You begin to wonder, what else are you capable of? Seeing such confidence exuberate from yourself, the persistence to be alive, the wanderlust of the endless possibilities of being you. The journey is everlasting as a continuing education unit in the art of living, for there will be days when we fear to love oneself. But we cannot hold back. We are enticed to and addicted to the discovery within our hero or heroine's journey. Only you can be the final judge in determining what is right for you, Dr. Leo. The judge, jury, and executioner in this life is you. For every action dealt and every word spoken will be judged by the jury of your consciousness. The consciousness felt and experienced will be executed by you and you alone. You are the accomplice, you are the perpetrator, you are the victim. These words are in no way to diminish you, nor enable the victim mentality. But we can be victims of circumstances. There is no mistaking that. But as a judge, you determine whether you are a free man or woman, or a prisoner of self-pity. Loving yourself involves appreciating the value of you above all things. Loving yourself also involves the knowledge that you can only be you. If you try to be like anyone else, you may come very close, but you will always be second best. Dr. Leo. Welcome to Ronin Art and Music. I wish to introduce everyone to my new Teespring page, where you can purchase designs featuring Ronin Art and Music, the Monday Mindset, or Ronin Thoughts. Head over to Teespring and search Ronin Art and Music, or head over to my Etsy page at Ronin Art and Music, where you can purchase photography postcards, motivational postcards, and hard copies of my debut album, True Colors. If you enjoy the merchandise, products, or content created by Ronin Art and Music, please take time to subscribe to my Patreon page at Ronin Art and Music. This is the best way to show continued support and join Clan Ronin, where you will have a hands-on impact on all things Ronin Art and Music. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love. When we try to become others, we lose sight of who and what it means to be I. You know, I recently saw an article headline that stated that There was a study that was done that showed that people who follow celebrities and are obsessed with them and all that fun jazz um, actually have a lower IQ. And I bring that up because, how often do we see society and individuals and cliques and groups and fandoms try so hard to copy and emulate the lifestyle or the characters, you name it. And they're so consumed with these celebrities, so consumed with these fandoms and what have you, that they have no idea who they are. Their identity, who they are as an individual, is associated with, whatever, fandom, whatever group, whatever, you know, progressive class or, tribe, whatever you associate with. That is your identity. That is who you are. You don't have an individuality. You only have a tribe, and your personality is only the tribe. There's no you. So you lose sight of what it means to be an individual. You lose sight of having freedom of thought, freedom of expression, because every thought and expression has to be filtered through this tribe. It has to be filtered through like everyone else. It has to sound like everyone else. It has to feel like everybody else. And that's what's so dangerous about these tribes. These culture tribes that you see throughout the country, throughout the world, and how they're degrading people's sense of self-worth, self-identity, self, their being, what it means to be human. And it's unfortunate and it's sad. And I myself have briefly been attacked by, some of these, culture tribes. And it's sad to see the degradation of people's intelligence, but more importantly, their emotional intelligence. And we're seeing that across the board. And and I think a lot of it has to do with people losing sight of who they are as an individual, because they don't have any true identity. They don't have a true self. They only live through this false self that is vicariously living through a tribe, a fandom. You name it, you got it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you are involved in that stuff. I would not be surprised. Nothing against you. But what I'm trying to say is we have to be aware of this. And I don't know if you are as a person. You might want to listen to this and take a second and analyze, what type of tribe that you're part of and what are they really promoting? Are you promoting, segregation of thought and ideas and race and culture and whatnot? Because we're seeing a lot of that going on right now, and it's unfortunate. And a lot of people, a lot of those groups and tribes are forcing people, you can't have an identity, you can't have a self. You must conform to the tribe. The tribe is self. The tribe is your identity. The tribe is you. The tribe is your being. And that is not a healthy way to live. That is a dangerous way to live. And you can look in past history, and we've seen what that kind of mentality does to people, and what kind of path it can lead them down. And that's not something I want to be associated with. That's why, I believe in freedom of individuality, freedom of thought, freedom of expression. Because by loving yourself, you are loving your individuality. You're loving your freedom of expression. You're loving the fact that you can speak your mind, and hopefully in a calm and respectful manner. And if it's passionate, go for it. But at least you're able to communicate. And that's what's most important. And when we don't have value in who we are as an individual, and then we conform to these tribes, you're not an individual anymore. You're not a person. You are the tribe. You are these culture tribes, these political tribes. And you look at any of those groups, they don't seem to be promoting, loving your neighbor, or loving yourself, or, or being, or actively participating in the improvement of the community and the self. They're not promoting those ideas. And how are you supposed to be able to love yourself if all you're hearing is that everyone is the enemy and you're the enemy as well? And and that's why I really sympathize for the younger generations, because they're growing up in a time where freedom of individuality is seen as a threat. um, and it's unfortunate that we can't just be and allow everyone to communicate what it means to be. Everyone has to conform. And I don't know what that means for being an individual that wants to promote freedom of thought, freedom of expression, because you have the very same people who are claiming to promote freedom of thought, freedom of expression, but will censor anyone's thoughts or expressions that don't confirm with their narrative. And that is not how you love people. That is not how you love yourself. And what I'm trying to say is that being able to love yourself also fundamentally means being able to love the world and love other individuals, despite their thoughts and personalities and credences. And even if, there are people who you don't necessarily like or agree with, that's fine. You have every right to not necessarily agree with them. You have every right to not like them, and you have every right to disagree with them. But you don't have the right to bully them. And you don't have the right to force complacency on them. And that's not how you love one another, and that's definitely not how you love yourself. Because when you see people who are bullying others, when you see other people conform to be like other people, that means bullying and harassing and promoting these negative ideas and ways of expression, you're not loving yourself at all. Right? And that's what I'm trying to say. If you don't have value for the world and the fact that you're alive and you can do things, you don't have value for yourself. You don't see the value in yourself. And that's all I'm trying to say. And that's what I see in a lot of these groups and cliques and tribes. I see a lot of people who hate the world and they hate themselves. But let's be honest, who they really hate is themselves. And they're taking it out on everyone else. They're taking it out on everyone who doesn't conform to their ideas, that doesn't conform to what they believe in. And look what it's costing us. It's costing us the ability to appreciate one another, to love ourselves. People are afraid to love themselves for what they believe and what they stand for, because they might get ridiculed for it. They might get canceled for it. They might get harassed. They might lose their job for it. And listen, some people are going to say outlandish things. Some people love outlandish stuff, but we have to let them say their thing so that we can all be like, okay, well, maybe that's not the most ideal thing. What was it like? Joe Rogan says that the best way to combat bad speech is with better speech, or something like that. And we need to have open dialogue. We need to talk about how can we love each other in a manner that also can spread to other people, that motivates them to love themselves, to value themselves. Because when we love ourselves and we value ourselves, we value other people. We value other individuals. Even if we don't necessarily agree with them, we can still see the value in them. And that is the most important thing. You can't take that away. And that's what happens when that's taken away. That means you're taking away your own self. And that's why I feel like it's so important, to be the best version of yourself. Because by being the best version of yourself, you're able to put the best version of you out into the universe for everyone to see, to be inspired, to appreciate, and to see the value in you as a person. And that's so important. If we all got together in communities of individuals, we would thrive so much better. Because a community of individuals, they have individual thoughts that can coalesce, that can evolve together, that can spread and create new ideas, new thoughts, new perceptions, and makes a community tighter because we see the value in every individual. We don't see the value in the tribe, we see the value in each individual. And there may be days when one individual leads, and the next day that individual is the follower because they can't lead in certain aspects because another person is better at it. And that's what individuals do. There are going to days where we're all going to be leaders. Then there are going to be days when we're all leaders, and there's going to be days when we're all followers. And sometimes there's going to be a day where you are always the leader, but then you're going to have to take a step back and let someone else lead. And that's not diminishing you as a person. That's not diminishing your manhood or your womanhood or whatever, or your ego. That means that you see the value in that other person and their capability to lead. And you see the value in yourself being able to take a step back and let someone else lead. That, to me, that's true honor. That's true being in a community of individuals. And we need that more now than ever. This entire world and country is getting divided by these culture tribalisms, by these political tribalisms. And we have very few people trying to stand up for individualism. and that's what's most important. Individualism within a community-based mindset that sees the value in everyone. And that can do tremendous work in a community, in a world, in a country. And that's something that people have to willingly want to be involved in. And this isn't my pitch for running for government or any of that kind of fun jazz, but I'm just saying these are, I guess, ideas and conversations to put out there for other people to talk amongst themselves. What does it mean to be a community of individuals? What does that mean to you? And we should have those conversations. And I think it's important. I think that if we address what it means to be the best version of yourself in a community of individuals, we can make serious changes, not only culturally, but politically, technologically, you name it. But that it all comes with us seeing the value within ourselves and moving towards the best version of you. If you know, accept, and appreciate yourself and your uniqueness, you will permit others to do so. If you value and appreciate the discovery of yourself, you will encourage others to engage in self-discovery. Dr. Leo. We are the greatest gift to the world and the most valued treasure to our soul. Journey of self-discovery is a self-inspiring, self-motivating action that requires desire for knowledge and enlightenment through the teachings in the art of living. If you recognize your need to be free, to discover who you are, you will allow others their freedom to do so also. When you realize you are the best you will accept the fact that others are the best they. But it follows that all starts with you. To the extent to which you know yourself, and we are all more alike than different, you can know others when you love yourself. You will love others. And the depth and extent to which you can love yourself, only to that depth and extent will you be able to love others. Dr. Leo.